Sony just sent me this not long ago to get a chance to look at it, to play with it, to see what I think of it, and give me an opportunity to buy it if I ever want to. I'm a member of Sony Pro support, and whenever you're a member of Sony Pro support, Sony really rolls out the red carpet for you on a lot of different things. So one of the things that that I do is I get a chance to evaluate any piece of equipment that Sony actually makes, and they don't charge me anything to get it or to ship it, or they even let me keep it for quite a long time to really play with it, no charge, because I'm a member of Sony Pro support. Now, of course, you have to qualify for Sony Pro support and have certain types of equipment and be seen as a certain type of photographer with Sony. Basically, you have to really be part of their family, and at least to Sony. And so I got a chance to try out these pieces of equipment. Thought I'd just go ahead and tell you that first. Now, let's talk about the piece of equipment that we're looking at, because I am so excited about this. Now, what we're looking at really right now is this camera. And this camera is the a7RIII Mark IV. Super high resolution, over 60 megapixels of resolution. Look at that. This camera that you're looking at right now is what a lot of people will deem as the #1 best camera in the world as far as performance, resolution, all types of things that have to do with professional photography that you definitely want to have in a camera. This Sony a7RIII Mark IV is that camera. Now, the pros out there, some of them will even argue and say, hey, this is not the best camera in the world out there. Really, I would go with the Mark III, a7RIII Mark III. So let's move on to the next thing. Now, this is what I'm even more excited about, is this lens. Now, this is a macro lens, as you can tell. Macro, and it's a 2.8. This is the 90 millimeter 2.8 from Sony. Now, this lens is so well known and so highly respected, and some people, many people will say it is the absolute best quality macro lens in the world. That's crazy. I actually have it. I'm getting ready to try it out. I've been testing it, actually. What am I talking about? I've been playing with it, and I love it. I think it's great. I really want to go ahead and get one. I think I am going to go ahead and purchase one of these as soon as I can. It's not a total necessity because I don't do a lot of micro, but macro is really, really a lot of fun. You get a lot of amazing images from doing macro, and if you do it right, it can be a really big deal for you. A really, really, really big deal. I love the buttons on this a7RIII Mark IV. The buttons on here even look a little bit better than the a7RIII Mark III, especially this button right here is more tactile. You could feel a little bit more. It's better. This button is bigger on the 4 than it is on the 3 that I'm using right there. This button is flat. Well, this button stands out. This is the play button, and this is the trash button. Big difference there, I noticed. Everything's the same here. A locking mechanism right here. So that is something that's new. We didn't have the locking mechanism. We did have the locking mechanism on the Mark III, but they kept it over on the Mark IV. The handle is bigger on the Mark IV than it is on the 3. Some people like that a lot better. Some people can live with or without it. Wow, your custom button 3 over here is bigger than it was, and even the menu button is bigger. It stands out a little bit more than it did on the Mark III. But that's about the big difference on the outside there. As far as I could tell, the camera's just slightly bigger. That's about it. But this Mark III that I'm using, I love it. I really don't know if I'm going to move over to the Mark IV or not. I don't see a whole lot about the Mark IV yet that makes me want to get rid of my Mark III or or to purchase a Mark IV just to have along with my Mark III. I'm not quite there yet. So I will say this, you know, I love the Mark III, the a7R Mark III. I do like the Mark IV that I'm testing right now. Don't get me wrong, I really think it's great. But I don't know if I'm gonna really upgrade. I don't know, Sony. I don't know. This lens, I think you got me though. So that's gonna cost me about $1,400, I think, with tax and everything, brand new. Unless I happen to buy it used, I can get it for what, about $1,100 plus tax. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that money down. So I think y'all got me on that one. Y'all got me on that one. But when it comes down to the camera, I'm not sure. I got a chance to shoot with Sony a7R Mark IVs for about a week before Sony sent me this. And that was at Sony Condo 3 up in Oregon, Sun River, Oregon. And that was really wonderful. I got a really good opportunity to shoot with this camera, like I said, for about a week with some of the top professionals in the world. And I put out other blogs about that. And it's a good camera. I mean, really good camera. I have to admit, it is a good camera. It is definitely worth an upgrade if you have a Mark II and you want to move up. I would say go with the Mark III if you really want to save a little bit more money. But the Mark IV does have a couple of extra advantages over the Mark III. But I have to say, I am impressed with the macro lens. This macro is so amazing, and I may have to make a video just about the macro only, because that is one super duper lens. So look, thanks a lot for tuning in, listening to me run my mouth. I really appreciate it. I'm really kind of surprised y'all listen this long. I appreciate you. Hey, thank you very much, and I'll make some more videos if you want. Bye-bye.